Hey everybody, welcome back to the Scentaur Fragrance channel. Thank you so much for being here today. It's a pleasure to be back. My name is Benjamin, and I review fragrances, colognes, perfumes, and all things scent related here. So thank you so much for stopping by. If you're new to my channel, you're always welcome here. Big hello to you. And if you're a subscriber, thank you from the bottom of my heart. So let's jump into a fragrance. Let's talk about Azzorowanted. Before we jump into the smell itself, the composition, then the projection, longevity, then the compliment factor, and lastly the price. Let's first talk about the history of this fragrance a little bit. First off, this is Azzaro Wanted makes the word is like something, the definition is something desirable, something that is sought after, something that people are going to be drawn towards. That is the kind of fragrance they're going towards, so I'm expecting something kind of alluring, perhaps something seductive. So let's definitely jump into it. But a little bit with the history though is I don't think this fragrance was marketed much, especially because there was a kind of controversy with the shape of the bottle. It kind of looks like the cylinder of a certain kind of weapon, and that's controversial to some people. I can understand that, but overall, let's talk about the juice. That's what we're here for. So first off, with the smell and the composition, this fragrance is definitely going to remind you of Invictus if you're familiar with it. Now, that bubblegum nature is definitely prevalent in the fragrance. It's more in the opening. It's not as loud as Invictus, and it's mixed with this aromatic nature. Now, I actually was really happy that Azzaro made this fragrance because there aren't a lot of aromatic fragrances, in my opinion, on the market today in the designer world of things. If you were to go to the mall, most fragrances or gourmands or rose-based kind of fragrances, or they're aquatics, and or just other fragrances. Perhaps there's a couple fougères, but overall, a very nice fragrance. Again, an aromatic is something that has lavender. It usually has a few spices, and it has this interesting, uplifting kind of quality to it. Overall, very nice. But it's really hard to distinguish the notes in this fragrance. It really is. You can tell that this fragrance has a lemon quality overall. This fragrance isn't particularly citrusy. It's not but it is fresh. It is clean overall, and but it does have a lemon, like a lemon peel type quality that runs through the fragrance, and it really lasts a long time. I'm really glad that they were able to pull that off. I wish that some more citrus fragrances were able to hold on onto that lemon kind of tone to the fragrance longer. So that's actually a really nice thing about this fragrance. Again, that bubblegum nature, critics are really going to hate it because it's really mass appealing. Some people see it as juvenile, but for the younger crowd, this is a really good offering. Perhaps a fragrance that's better for special occasions or like a fancy date night kind of thing, because this fragrance isn't as playful or as aquatic as maybe an Invictus is, for sure. Overall, it is very playful, it is very youthful, but it does have that interesting, again, kind of nature to it, especially if you're new to fragrances. Again, if you're familiar with fragrances, this isn't going to be something that you're particularly going to be drawn towards. In the final dry down of this fragrance, it starts even as early as 3 minutes on my skin. This fragrance becomes a little bit more musky, and then you can really begin to notice that there's quite a bit of tonka in this fragrance. Now, that tonka is a smoothed out, almost vanilla-like nature to this fragrance. It's not too sweet, it's not too overbearing. It just gives this fragrance a fullness, not necessarily powdery, especially in this one, but overall definitely some tonka here in the dry down, a little bit of musk. That musk perhaps is accentuated by a little bit of ambergris, not too much here. This definitely not as an ambergris bomb, but I don't think it's particularly listed, but it might have a little bit in here. Overall, a very mass appealing, very likable fragrance that for some reason is overlooked or discredited a lot in the fragrance community. Now let's talk about the projection and the longevity, which are definitely going to be factors here. On my skin, this is a 6-hour fragrance. on my skin. Now, some people say they get a little bit worse, and some people say they get a really good performance out of this fragrance. I get average projection and 6 hours of performance, which isn't bad. Um, I do feel like for this kind of fragrance that I would like a little bit more performance because it's so playful. This kind of juice and how it smells is kind of a attention-seeking kind of fragrance, in my opinion. Again, not as much as Invictus, not as much as Dior Sauvage, but this is definitely a hey, I'm youthful, I'm cool kind of fragrance. And for a younger person, I think that they might want something with, this performs better. But if they're going to be indoors, if they're a more sensible kind of, if you're a more sensible kind of young guy, this might be what you want. Overall, again, a very nice fragrance. So performance isn't the best, but it's not terrible. So finally, as we talk about the compliment factor, I think that this fragrance gets high marks, no doubt about it. Even though fragrances like Invictus and this one are really hated on by some in the fragrance community, just like Dior Sauvage is. And I understand because it doesn't suit me. I've not only outgrown it, but I think that my nose has matured beyond a fragrance like this. I can appreciate it for what it is. If I gave it a score out of 10, I would give it a 6 out of 10. But of course, we have to talk about the price. The price here is going to be retail 80, but you can find this fragrance below 50, perhaps closer to 40 or below. So not a bad price. It actually, in a lot of situations, this is really versatile. Because of that performance, you're less likely to offend people. Again, if you wear 4 sprays or so of this, you're going to be really noticeable, and it's going to carry you through most of the workday. But I do feel like this fragrance does come in between being youthful and being more mature because of that aromatic nature that's kind of lemony, and lavender, of course. So age-wise, who would I suggest this to? I would suggest this fragrance to somebody who's 18 to perhaps 25. I think this fragrance is youthful and playful enough, but I do feel like you have to, be able to rock this kind of fragrance. This is kind of a young man's Dior Homme. It doesn't smell anything like Dior Homme, and Dior Homme is the superior fragrance. But I'm saying if you want to step into that yellow, playful, bad boy kind of vibe of a fragrance, this is perhaps your first bad boy fragrance if you're a younger guy. So again, I appreciate this fragrance for what it is. I know that I personally don't enjoy it too much, and I wouldn't buy a bottle for myself, but if you're looking for a fantastic gift for a nephew, if you're looking for your first bad boy type of fragrance, I think that this one and Spice Bomb are highly recommended. Now, in closing, if you are a fragrance enthusiast like I am, I really recommend Kalinga by Les Artisans Parfumeurs. And if you like the sound of this fragrance and you're willing to wear a fragrance with more moderate performance, the Cobra and the Canary by Imaginary Authors is another fragrance that has somewhat of a playful twist on a citrus kind of fragrance. So definitely check this one out if it sounds interesting. Thank you so much for being here today and watching my review. I love making these reviews and putting this content out there. Let me know if you like my reviews, what you think about this fragrance, if you own this fragrance, if you like this fragrance, if you think that it's a good fragrance at all, or if it's just terrible like you think perhaps Invictus or Dior Sauvage is. Again, there's a huge segment of people. There's fragrance enthusiasts, and there's people who are, like mass appealing fragrances just out there. Just everyday got people who just want something to smell really good and perform decently. So please take that into account with this review. Thank y'all so much for being here today. This is another, awesome fragrance day. Let me know perhaps what your scent of the day is below. Thank y'all so much for being here. Please like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you never miss out on an episode, and even share the video if you're feeling generous. I really like to see your support, and it really helps motivate me to make more videos and put content like this out there. So thank y'all so much. I really appreciate everything y'all do. And of course, don't forget to wear what you love. And I'll see y'all next time. This has been the Scentatar Fragrance channel, and y'all know what to do. And I'll see y'all next time. Bye.